Okay, sorry. Thought I'd hit that button earlier, but no, I didn't. Welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield. We've got Bill and Stephanie with us tonight. We had briefly Thessaly, but evidently she vanished while the beginning credits were running. So we hope she will return. Um, Go
Think
ahead.
she was trying to get somebody from keep from somebody getting her violin.
Yeah,
Oh, one of the cats. Okay, yeah, that makes
I didn't
perfect
know she
sense.
had cats or kids.
yeah, one or the other.
Cats.
Okay.
Yep. And actually, one of the cats did a number on an earlier violin, and it had
Oh
to be
my.
rebuilt.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
we felt, oh, here we go. She she
You
ran the
made it.
cat away from the violin and returned, thankfully.
No, I was actually putting myself more together so I wasn't just sitting in scrubs.
Oh. In any case, it's been a long time since we've seen you, and I'm very glad to see you again. Um, Good Lord, how long has it been since the LibertyCon where we met?
Oh, that was back in like 2018,
It was double.
19.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while.
But a minute.
A lot of water under the bridge. Uh, well, uh, this is Bill and Stephanie, and you remember them from the other show, and Stephanie as well from the conventions.
Oh,
Bill is
well.
an artist par excellence.
Oh, what kind of style do you do?
Cartoons.
See, I can't. I'm a portrait artist, so if it's not correctly portionalized, I can't do it. I tried, but I kind of want to see some of your stuff now. But I'm also an artist enthusiast too, whatever you want to call it.
Well, friend
Well,
him
I
on Facebook, and he posts stuff. Well, not daily, but several times a week. And
if I don't post new sketches daily, I will post some of my old ones because I have 500 plus sketches on my artwork page. But yeah, feel free to friend request me. I'm friends with Dan and Joe Dog and John and Lewis and Stephanie and
Hey,
Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan and everybody else.
now stay away from the violin. I swear to God, you knock it down, we are gonna have some words. I
Teach them
need
how
that.
to play and they'll take care of it.
I
Well, I
think
kind of
finger
need it for my
picking is
work.
the only cat style that will work.
Tell
Oh,
them the violin strings are no longer made out of cat guts, so no sense in taking it out on your violin.
Yo, the strings are something else to play. My cat is weird.
mm. I bet they've gotten even more expensive than back when
What
I had one.
strings? Oh, if
Strings.
you want the decent ones, yeah, they are so much more expensive. I think mine, I paid $40.
Set or each.
Uh, I want to say it was for a set because it was a deal, but like each one was like in between $10 to $15. But I also have to play in front of recordings, and so they got to be able to actually hear my tones.
Hmm.
So I need the best strings I can get, and ones that
There
won't snap because they hurt.
there
I
are
played
actually recordings out there of me playing a violin.
Oh, this I gotta hear.
Oh, I
and
disguised it well. I learned a lot from Robert Fripp, so I had three reel-to-reel tape recorders set up, one to record, one to play, and another one to record that was about 5 feet away from the first two. So there was an automatic tape delay.
Oh shit!
So yeah, well, I mean, I steal from the best. Um,
now not to brag on how good Dan plays, but I will say that he won a gold fiddle from the devil after one particular time. And
Devil
that's
one
all
down
I'll
in
say.
Georgia.
Yeah, well, he cheated. He brought a band along, and
Yeah, well,
the 44 Magnum covers a multitude of sins.
it's the devil. What do you expect? He's gonna cheat. No, I used to play
There's a problem.
bass guitar, and I still have a Hofner mandolin style bass, the Paul McCartney style, and I know even back when I was playing in the late 70s through 80s, decent bass strings were just about half of my paycheck. Back then. I couldn't even begin to imagine right now. I haven't played in a while, even though I've kept the Hofner, but yeah, they're horrible. You could get the cheap Fender strings or whatever, but
they won't last.
No, they won't. They won't at all.
Those are about made more for student guitars than anything.
It got to the point that I have what I call my practice strings, and then my professional strings. So I change out my strings periodically because I need my professional strings to last as long as possible because they are not cheap. That's like taking an arm and a leg.
I used to get the cheap stuff for when I was in the garage band, and then I found out one of my favorite bands that nobody's ever heard of called Crack the Sky. They use a brand called Diodario strings, and
that's what I bought. Yep,
they are very expensive.
Very,
and they sound wonderful, even with me playing. But
I can't remember what strings that I have. They're fiddle strings because I do play a lot of bluegrass too.
I remember the videos you used to post. Yes.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Huh?
Are you still doing that in front of folks?
No.
With the group that you were there with?
Nope. Neil doesn't really go out and play anymore. Like me, he has very bad social anxiety. And I'm not comfortable playing by myself. And for me to do that, I don't even like recordings of me playing because I'm not nearly as good as I should be for playing 15 plus years now. But I'm in recovery state right now, so.
Well, if you go to my my Bandcamp page, there are 3 albums where I'm actually playing several instruments, mostly bass, but sometimes keyboards, sometimes rhythm guitar, and sometimes Lord only knows what I got up to. This was back in the late 70s when the garage band was happening. So I was amusing myself in between practice sessions, and I had a good friend who was doing his own stuff on electric guitar, and he wanted a bass player. So he taught me how to play bass parts for his music. Unfortunately, his bass parts were rhythm guitar parts. Yeah. So it got busy. I don't know how many times that I jammed with some guys that were just starting out and they go, "Hey, you got to stop it with this busy bass thing." And I go, "Well, I can try to hold it down to thumpa, thumpa, thumpa if you want me to, but."
See what Joe Dog was talking about earlier about YouTube videos and that isolate certain instruments, and that I watch and just marvel at all the isolated bass parts from John Entwistle on numerous songs by The Who.
Yeah.
And I wished to God that back in the 70s, when I was learning how to play bass, because John Entwistle was the best, I thought. I mean, he played lead bass guitar, and it was unheard of prior to him. But I would sit there with my 33 1/3 albums of Who Are You or Who's First or whatever, and try my absolute best to pull out all the bass parts and how he did it, and And man, to have YouTube back then would have been absolutely wonderful.
Oh
The
yeah,
man could not only play the notes, but he played the silences really
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love bass, like going on YouTube and just listening to bass things. Yeah, whether or not I know the songs or not, because what I'll do is I'll actually play the bass, grab the violin, and just improv. I love playing with bass, whether or not they're guitar bass, bass for like the strings of an orchestra, anything that plays bass. Like I absolutely love it, and it fascinates me because without them, you don't have tempo really, because it's very easy to get off track.
Yes, that is the actual rhythm. Well, along with the drums, of course. But
Remind me to send you that video of the music video that I did. That was a part of. I got
will
asked to
try.
do last minute, so that was a little rough.
I will try and remember. I've been asked to compose a 30-second piece of. It's supposed to be a soundtrack for an animated, the intro to an animated film. Um, I have watched the animation over and over again, and I'm beginning to hear stuff that I might be able to throw something in there. Stephanie is familiar with the way that I work and how it is sideways to everybody else's composing, but I don't.
I work a lot with Neil sometimes. He'll ask me to do some violin sounds, and most of the time he'll tell me what he wants or give me a general direction. And I cannot tell you how many times I've watched this man create something out of nothing, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, like, for y'all who actually compose shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this one or not. My bad.
It's after 11 o'clock. If anybody's going to object, who
All the
cares?
kids are in bed now, except for me.
But like I've watched the process. I've been taught the process. I cannot do it the way that I work in creating. Like Oakwood was me fiddling around, Neil cutting and putting something together, and then handing me the sheet music for it.
Well,
Okay, Bill, I can't stand it. Go.
What?
Go.
Go. Okay. Bye. I swear I didn't think I said anything to make you mad, but if you want me to leave, I'll leave.
No, I want you to.
She wants to hear you play.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't.
Now I'm afraid to actually show my violin because then I'm going to get told to play and I ain't got nothing to play.
Well, the only bad thing about this is I do not have an amp in here that I could plug into actually something that would pick up the sound on my. Otherwise, yeah, I would play something.
Yeah, and it would sound really strange coming through your headset microphone.
More than likely, because this type of microphone is not meant for this. And I remember back in the mid '80s, speaking of headsets and stuff, they made a headset that it had a cord that you plugged it into your bass or your guitar or what have you, and you would turn it on, and as you're sitting there playing, you hear it through the headsets. And it was all operated off of a 9-volt battery.
Yep.
Now it was one of those things to where you wouldn't be bothering anybody else and that by using that, but it was the most horrible sounding thing. It made my bass sound like a fuzz bass.
Yeah.
It's
very, very hard to get the gain right on something like that. You know, if you plug a bass guitar directly into a mixing board, you can ruin that channel of the mixing board by just playing bass without any preamp or anything else, because the notes are so low, it will mess with the circuitry. It sounds good for a little while, but then you got to buy another mixing board, which gets expensive after a while.
But that's one of the reasons I love playing on electric violin, because I work night shift. So, well, second shift, third shift, whatever you want to call it. So I don't get back till like after midnight, and being able to just plug in and play and practice, man, I have more time of practicing instead of with an acoustic violinist.
Mm-hmm.
Acoustic violin, not an acoustic violinist.
A couple weeks ago at the auction, they had, and I'm trying to think of the brand name of the banjo, but it was, somebody really took very good care of it. And they had a banjo, a harpsichord, and something else. I'm wanting to say it was a clarinet or something, but anyway, it all came from the same lot. And I really, really tried to get that banjo, because a banjo and a mandolin are two things that I have on my bucket list to learn how to play. And I just, and of course somebody was all ready to outbid me in that, and I backed out after about $80. So,
Yeah,
but
it happens.
you know,
Now, I do have one of these. You're supposed to be able to plug up a stringed instrument, an electric stringed instrument, and you go ahead and USB it into another thing on the computer that will turn that basically into a MIDI controller, or do the actual sounds from the instrument.
Well, what you can also do if you have an acoustic is that you can actually turn your acoustic, and I have done it on several occasions, turn your acoustic into a hybrid.
Yes. I actually own an acoustic bass guitar that has a built-in mic and amp. So
Let me not hold it like that, because that's going to break.
the trouble is I'm used to a short neck Fender bass, and this is a long neck. So the spaces between the frets are much further than what I'm used to. So I'm having to stretch my hands, and it's really, really awkward to try and hit the same stuff that I
yeah,
used to
try a
hit.
Hofner.
It,
Wait,
Your
hold on.
hands will look like this in about an hour.
Wait, hold on. Wait. A long bass versus a short neck? Wait, a
there
long
is a
neck?
there is a short neck bass and a long neck bass, and the difference is on the long neck the frets are further apart.
This is why I like the violin, because it never freaking changes.
No.
Doesn't matter what type you play.
And if you want to change notes, you just roll your finger over a fraction of an inch, and
No.
all of a sudden it goes up an octave. No,
Play a violin where you have to be on point the whole freaking time, otherwise you get a completely different sound.
yes, indeed.
I
Oh,
love
you
violin.
remember the little violin piece that I sent you that I had composed and asked you if you would consider it a challenge to see if you would. It's been years.
Oh no, I need you to resend it to me so that I can do that and actually do it for you now that I actually have a working violin.
Stephanie is who it was for.
Oh, now I have to do it. Not. I got it.
Oh,
I wanted her
Now I
to.
got
I
it.
wanted her to play the track from Displaced Detective Suite, the one
I
that is
got
just
you.
solo violin.
I got you, but I need the song again because I have seemed to have lost it.
Well, the thing is, there's no sheet music to go with it.
I don't need a sheet music. I play a lot by ear.
Well, at that time, you were wanting the sheet music, and I
Yeah,
can't write this.
I've had to adjust because the stuff that I do play with people, I don't have sheet music, so I've kind of had to adjust to play
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately it doesn't matter because I'm classically trained. First and foremost, I'm a classical violinist. I prefer having a sheet music because it helps. However, over the years, I have become less and less on the sheet music to where now if I can't read, I mean, I can read sheet music, but if I start reading and playing, it doesn't work anymore. Not without the music.
Yeah, it's easier to play along with it, but if you're classically trained, having the sheet music and playing along with the recording of the actual performance gets much easier with a little bit of practice.
Yeah, but unfortunately, for a lot of stuff that I have to do now, it's improv. It's on the spot, or it's I have to listen, see if it works. If it works, then I keep it, and I'll actually write it out on a. I have a actual music sheet book where I will write down my version of a song, and that can easily take up to 46 to 126 hours, depending on the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, the recording in question is on my Bandcamp. Is it track 3, Stephanie? The first piece that I sent you, and you go, can you do more of this?
Yeah, hang on. I've got to find it.
Yes, it is track 3.
Yes. Meditations of a Displaced Detective.
And that one, I was in the middle of working on a steampunk album, and I said, wait a minute, this sounds like something else. So I stopped working on that, and I put this track together, and it's just solo violin. There's no drums, there's no nothing, just violin. And I sent it to Stephanie, and said, you might like this. And she emailed me back and says, can you do more? Evidently,
And we wound up working out a licensing arrangement for him to do an album based on one of my book series.
yes, the first 4 books in that series. You wrote some more after I'd done the album, and I'm going,
Yes.
Oh, I would absolutely love to be able to do that. If I could make a living doing that with my violin, oh, that'd be so happy.
well, I don't make a living at it, but it is popular.
You know what? Hearing an actual acoustic violinist, I have found has become very popular because they consider the violin the hardest instrument to learn, and I'm like, you clearly have not tried playing the piano.
I have.
I've tried. I can get I can read each key, but I cannot read them together, and my left and right hand do not work that way. I can play with one or the other. It does not both.
It's easier to transpose from a stringed instrument to a keyboard if you're left-handed and play a left-handed stringed instrument.
I call bullshit on that one. I'm left-handed and I play on a left-handed dominant. I call bullshit.
Well, the reason I said that is because the high and low end are in the same direction on a left-handed instrument rather than the right-handed that I play. So it's you get your fingers used to going up and then down, and you try it on a keyboard and you're going, oh, this is backwards. Over here is high notes, over here is low notes. So
I think what my issue is because on a piano, for the key that I play the violin primarily in is with my left hand, but on the piano you have to play it with your right. So my brain cannot do that because again I am trained only on this little piece of wood that I love, hold very dear to my heart. Ow.
I can play some left. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I have a little glitch over here that's delaying everybody.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You
also
need to
a
tell
weapon,
you
so-
need to tell your neighbor to update his Wi-Fi.
I'm telling you. No, I was just going to say, Thessaly was talking about playing left-handed and that. Now, I was born left-handed until they told me that was the work of the devil and made me right-handed and that. I can play some left-handed, and with this type of bass guitar, it would probably be sacrilegious to try to play it right-handed. But
Nice.
unfortunately, I have to, simply just because of all the years doing that. It's like I can pitch a baseball left-handed or bat left-handed, but it's once again the dominating right-handed thing is what's kind
Mhm.
of screwing with me.
I went
My
through
whole
that in
family
school
was
myself.
my whole family was right-handed, and I'm the only left-handed person. Well, technically, I'm a true ambidextrous, but I write with my left hand primarily. I write print with my left hand, cursive with my right, because I only know how to write cursive with my right hand, because I'm one of the last people to learn cursive, so I cannot write in print unless it's with my left hand. But it is very, very sacrilegious to play the violin on the right side. It don't not work. I turn back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the result of my teachers with the steel ruler is that I'm now neither-handed, so I do everything badly with either hand. Um, oh, but I amaze people at a pool table going, "Oh, that's a difficult shot. I better switch hands."
Oh, it's really funny watching when I do something like that, when I do play pool with my friends, and sometimes I do have to switch hands, and they're like, "There's no way in hell." I'm like, "Bet, hold my beer,
Mm.
hold my drink," and then I love confusing the math. And they're like, "How the hell are you right and left-handed?" It's called Christian teaching.
So now you need two violins, do it like this, and have it propped up, and then you can.
And somebody else to run the bow? No, I don't think that's going to work.
I don't. I mean, no.
You need forearms, don't you?
No, no.
Couldn't do it.
You could do it if you had a prehensile tail.
You need a friend to do part of it while you're doing the other part.
No. 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 No.
Well, how about this? They have double neck guitars and basses. Why not a double neck violin?
Because it's a different principle entirely.
Because this thing called a bridge. And the way that it's built. No.
I'm
No.
just messing with you.
No.
Trying to introduce her to a new sin here.
No.
Well, you know.
No. God. No. Oh, no, okay. No! No, this is what happens when you go right-handed.
Careful, Thessaly. That's about to be your new hashtag.
This is what happens when you go right-handed. No. Oh, no. The tape came undone.
Oh, dear.
I'm glad this is my practice bow. Because, no. Oh, no. This is what... No. No. I'm sorry.
Stephanie, are you counting how many times she's saying no? We're going to go back and watch the rerun. We'll come up with a number.
Problem.
We'll come up with a number and post it in Stupid O'Clock tomorrow.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
No, Dan might not, but he will. Dan knows what will happen. I don't even have to be in the same state. That felt really wrong. Ugh.
No, I don't. I haven't like played in a band or anything like that because I mean, let's face it, up until they developed electronic keyboards, pianos weren't very portable. So
No, no. Even then, some keyboards aren't really portable either.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
Unless there was those 80s ones that you wore it like a guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you had to have this long cord because they hadn't introduced wireless yet.
Mhm. Which it keeps putting to mind the concert scene from the first Revenge of the Nerds movie. For some reason.
Oh, I,
Ooh,
I
that
I
sounds
think we
nice.
left the rails a long time ago.
It has been years for you, Dan, since you left Rails.
Excuse me?
Nothing. I love you.
Yes, I love you too.
Your favorite adopted person.
We
She had to
we
think about that descriptive word there for a second before she said it. Interesting.
we can
My
put it that way.
brain
Yes.
is like filling on his like adopted reboot.
Killed it.
Yeah, really. I don't believe they've invented a word yet.
Look, I'm your favorite adopted gremlin, okay?
Gremlin.
Gremlin.
That works.
Favorite adopted gremlin. That's
Just don't feed her, Dan.
Well,
I live off of spite and caffeine, so I don't need to eat anyhow. So ha.
there are dietary restrictions involved. Yes.
Yep.
Not wrong.
No raiding the refrigerator at midnight.
No. I couldn't do it if I
No.
wanted to.
Now I'm thinking about Phoebe Cates. Man, my mind
Thessaly and
is
sour
racing.
cream do not mix.
Anything gluten, dairy, or red meat do not mix well with me, okay?
Hmm. Oh, the times that you have posted that. Oh, it tasted so good. Now I'm in misery.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I work at the Cheesecake Factory, and I'm required, well, not required
Ooh.
anymore because I do have dietary restrictions, but I'm supposed to be tasting the like the sour cream that I'm supposed to make and everything like that. I'm sorry, did you just shrink your...
Oh, this is my Rickenbacker. Hey, I could make a violin out of my Rickenbacker, Dan. I don't have
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I will use this, and
I'm afraid to ask.
It's a Doctor Who screwdriver.
Oh, I know where
There you
it's
go.
a sonic screwdriver, but I'm just
How's
afraid
that?
That
figure
was
out
Sonic
how
ultra,
screwdrivers don't work? Okay, well,
that was ultrasonic. You know, and a weird thing is,
I guess this one doesn't either. So,
No! Don't do me dirty. Come on, man.
these actually, okay, Thessaly, these are very articulatedly made replicas, miniature replicas of very famous guitars. You can get a lot. I'm all about Rickenbacker. I used to have this guitar. This is one that George Harrison used to play. And then I got another one up, and Stan Lee's falling over. Here's my other Rickenbacker that looks like John Lennon's. And they come with these neat little guitar stands too.
and
They're about 20, and I mean, they have the strings, everything is, and these even move the little volume
whammy
and
bar.
tone controls.
Oh,
yeah, a little whammy
Why?
bar moves.
They'll do everything but play.
Because it's there. That's why.
Why?
Why?
Bill likes toys.
Because can you tell I like toys? Can you tell I like toys?
There's nothing. Was that a Spock? Please tell me that was a Spock.
Can
No,
you tell? No.
That was Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. I do have a Spock. He's across the room. And I got Gundam.
Looking at you with one eyebrow raised.
You know what?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, I'm all about the toys. So.
Oh my goodness. I don't understand the purpose of that, but for me, it's like if I have an instrument, I'm gonna want to play it.
Decorative. Oh, believe me, I just about tried when I first saw. And they have miniaturized amplifiers, like the Vox amplifiers that the Beatles used back in the day. You could buy the miniaturized Fender amplifiers, the orange amplifiers that were really popular in the early 70s.
That was a really, really popular brand of small amp.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I had one a long time. I had one that it because of the orange amplifier that I had, I no longer have hearing in my left ear. It blew up on me.
Sounds like
and
me
I
and
was way too
my
close.
vinyl record collection in the stereo. I no longer have hearing because well, the volume knob kept going up. I can't help it.
Speaking of the vinyl record collection, of course, the 45s that I acquired last week, and I kept showing them in the green room, all the Cat Stevens and Joan Baez and all those 70s and 80s ones. I was showing screenshots of them to Laura while we were texting each other one day. And now she's just a year younger than me. And she should know all these groups. And she was only familiar with about maybe a third.
Mm-hmm.
It's shocking. And I love her to death. She's my bestie. But her and her sister Jenny, the little sister I never wanted.
But you got
both. Yeah. Well, the thing there is Jenny always said, they kind of adopted me into their family. And Jenny always said, when she would introduce me to somebody else, she goes, "This is Bill. This is my brother that I never had." And I said, "And this is Jenny. This is my little sister that I never wanted." That was our ongoing joke. And I hope you didn't choke there. But
Bill.
but anyway, Jenny or Laura, neither one liked the Beatles. It's like, I don't know what to describe that to or compare it to knowing somebody who doesn't like the Beatles. Right. And now Laura loves the Monkees. And last year for my birthday, a couple of my presents were 2 Monkees t-shirts. And she's all about the Monkees, but first, and I kept telling her, I said, "Well, but if it wasn't for the Beatles, there would be no Monkees," you know. And she just, I won't say she doesn't get it. I think she gets it. She just doesn't want to get it.
Yep, Beatles outbeat the Monkees like hardcore.
Yeah, and I love them both. I see when I grew up, I was born in 62, so I was very young when the Monkees came on TV in 66. But I watched them every week religiously, and I would tell my dad, "Oh, I love that song, Last Train to Clarksville," or Valerie, or whatever it was, you know. And if I was really good, he would go out and buy the 45 or buy the album for me. which is the reason why I have a lot of original Monkees albums and 45s. So I never grew up like being a little kid and listening to Peter Pan records or nursery rhyme songs. My first exposure to music at all was the Monkees, and so I was like a little rock and roll kid without even really knowing it. To me, I just thought, well, that's kid music or whatever.
Yeah, my biological mother loved the Monkees, but my mom, who lives out in California, loves the Beatles. And I told her, it's like, I don't know if I've actually heard the Beatles. And she's like, oh, you've heard some of their songs. You just don't know it's them. And then I tried going back to the Monkees a little while ago, and she's like, I can't. No, I need the Beatles, no.
Oh.
By the time I heard of the Beatles was the same year they broke up in 1970. And I actually remember seeing it on the CBS Evening News that the Beatles are no more. And my reaction was, oh, that's too bad. I heard they were a pretty good group. Talk about the understatement of the year, but I didn't know any different then because I didn't know them, but I would.
I actually found out that my mom was in the habit of, while doing housework, she would sing along with the radio, and she knew every Beatles song that came on the radio. I didn't know who they were until later when I actually started listening seriously to different music and go, hey, wait a minute, Mom used to sing this. Well, among other things, Mom would sing with just about anything that came on the radio. So, and there were people that would, she'd be washing dishes or whatever, and the radio would be on, and she'd be singing along with it. And some of my friends would go over and, is your mom a professional singer? And I go, no, she's just really good. Church choir sort of thing. Was about the training level that she had, but I did not know that about 90% of the Beatles songs that I grew up with were actually the Beatles, because the DJs were not in the habit of saying who the groups were. They just play a song and go on to the next song and didn't tell you who that was and go on to the next song. It was like they had this huge mixtape, and they weren't allowed to talk and tell you anything about the music itself.
No back announcing or anything.
No, nothing. And then in the 60s and 70s, when I was going, oh, I'm listening to the radio now, I want to hear this song, I want a recording of this song, and I put on the cassette recorder, and the DJ would talk halfway through the song while it was playing, and I'm going, oh, this is sacrilege. And come to find out, no, styles changed. That's what they were required to do, is carry on a conversation for what seemed like hours while the stuff was going on in the background. You just, as a kid with a cassette recorder, going, I want to hear my favorite songs. When you're not playing them, you think it's a conspiracy. They're just trying to ruin the intro for you.
Well, back then, as they were called disc jockeys, and now they call them on-air personalities. But if you were a good disc jockey, if the song started off with instrumental stuff, you would talk through the song and then plug the radio station, otherwise do a station identification, and then 1 second later, then the singing part of the song would start. You would have to be pretty good to be able to do all that. And we had, obviously, from WLS in Chicago, the Rock of Chicago back then, John Records, Landecker, and Larry Lujak, and Tommy Edwards, and all that. And they would actually be really decent at it. And I got John Records Landecker as a Facebook friend, and I messaged him one time after he posted this one little kind of a tirade post about music. And I said, at first, I used to hate it when you used to talk at the beginning of the song, just for what you said, Dan. You were trying to record the song. But I said, I would listen to how you were doing things and timing everything out, that by the time the singing would start, that you would be quiet. And he came back and he says, yeah, he says, well, there's some logistics there that we had to follow simply for legal reasons, because we weren't supposed to talk over the song as the singers were singing. They could actually get in trouble and get a strike against their license for it, which I never knew.
I remember
Go right ahead.
Okay. I remember, I don't listen to the radio anymore because we have this lovely thing where we can get Apple Music and make a playlist of all your favorite songs where you don't have to have the radio people. I remember in the car, it always drove me up a wall that they would be talking about the song was going, but then they immediately cut off right before the words started. I'm just like, oh, okay. That's really weird. And then I can't remember which station I used to listen to. I do know it was about a lot of 80s hair band music, where in the middle, where they would have like guitar solo, then they start talking again and then cut off right before the words started again. I'm like, did you not? You're ruining the vibe, man. This is before we had, the kitty. Oh, look at
Yes.
Meow, meow.
He's been very interested in the new light.
Yes.
Oh.
So
He says, it makes me look too white. Adjust it, Stephanie.
Meet Elrond. Elrond, meet Thessaly.
Like,
yes.
wait, like Lord of the Rings, Elrond?
This is Elrond half Siamese, yes.
Oh my god, I was actually just plucking the Lord of the Rings theme song, like the Hobbits. Oh god, that makes me so happy. Oh, like, oh my god, that makes me so happy.
Now we watch as the captive feline eats the microphone.
Oh, the cute.
Could you hear him purring?
Yes.
Okay.
Got his motor running.
I want to play him the Lord of the Rings song for the little bit that I know of it, because His Highness is here.
Yes.
Oh, he's so precious.
He's a sweetie. He my husband died in December of last year.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
it kind of unexpected. And this little guy he has stuck with me. If I get upset, I suddenly find him in my lap. And he's just been my companion, and he has probably saved my sanity a couple of times.
He's
That's
your
how
therapy
little-
monster.
He is that. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's my Lilith for me. I actually found her as a kid, and she's a rescue. I don't know what her home life was before she came running up to me, but she's been with me ever since. But she has become far more affectionate and loving and caring since March of last year, when my dad passed away to cancer, and just will snuggle up with me. I'm still getting over COVID right now because I got the plague. But she has been right there the whole time.
Yeah.
So weird how felines do that.
This one, the very night after he died, I had started the day before Thanksgiving. Daryl had a cardiac ablation, and they decided to follow that up with a pacemaker installation. And then they sent him home for the holiday weekend with no pain medication.
Oh.
And so,
Ouch.
yeah, he had kind of a rough time of it. And he wasn't allowed to sleep on the side that the pacemaker was on. But he was bruised all the way across his chest, because in order to do the ablation, they give you extra doses of blood thinners. So
Ow, 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 ow.
I mean, the bruising was epic. And so he could not get comfortable. So I finally said, look, I'm going to go in the den and I'm going to sleep in this recliner, and you take everything, all the blankets, all the pillows, everything that you need, you make you a nest and do what it takes to prop you into a comfortable position. So I had been sleeping in here, and I got up on December 1st, Wednesday, December 1st, and I went in to check on him, and he was gone. And that night, this little guy climbed up into this chair with me because there was no way I was going to sleep in the bed. I've
Right.
slept in it since, but it took a while. And he curled up with me, and he spent the night with me. And if he had not, I don't think I would have gotten any sleep.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's a funny thing what pets can do when you go through something traumatic like that, because you, for at least briefly for a moment, you stop or at least put the grief on hold, because you know you got to take care of the pets.
Mhm.
You got to, it's like, okay, you know, you can let yourself go and torture yourself, but you have somebody else that you're responsible for. So in a way that kind of keeps you in tune with where you need to be.
And that
And
helped.
mhm.
That definitely did help. Especially, it turns out he started losing weight, and it turns out he had hyperthyroidism. And I was taking him back and forth to the vet. Last summer, he was at 15 pounds. He got down to 6.5.
Oh.
Yeah. And he's still too thin, but I'm feeding him like 3 times a day. And he's got unlimited kibble, and I give him treats all the time, and I'm giving him meds for his thyroid. And so
Okay,
he's
that's
better.
what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
One of Laura's cats is going through the exact same thing that you just mentioned. She has 3 cats, and one has the hyperthyroidism. The other cat is diabetic, so he requires shots, insulin shots 3 times a day. And the other cat is normal, but she's young and likes to get into everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's,
As they
she's
get older,
controlling
they
it.
develop the other. Yeah.
And
Right.
that's the name of my new B-52's cover band, Unlimited Kibble.
Yeah. I mean,
Dan, I can't wait to see you in the big bouffant hairdo.
Tell
Yeah,
you what,
stop
though,
making sense, right?
But this guy, I would see him. We for years we've kept a drip of water in the upstairs faucet. We quit letting him into the downstairs bathroom when he upended my entire makeup kit into the toilet.
Oh.
I had to replace all my makeup, and we wound up having to replace the toilet because some of the stuff got down in the trap and messed it up. And so now he's not allowed in there anymore. No. But Daryl used the upstairs bathroom. It was a time saving thing. He had the upstairs, I had the downstairs. And he would leave the faucet dripping, and Elrod would go up there and drink from the faucet. And so I have just maintained that. And so I would see him, I would be talking to somebody on the phone, and I would see him come through and head up the stairs. He'd be halfway up the stairs, and I'd start crying. And yes, I'm talking about you. And he would stop dead, and he would turn around and he would look at me, and he would sit down on the step, and he would watch me for a minute or two. And then the next thing I would know, he'd be crawling up and curling up with me right here and
Oh.
purring. And he
Yeah.
would stay there until I got calmed down. And once I got calmed down, he would get down, he'd go back upstairs, he'd get his drink. And I don't know how many times I saw him do this. Stop whatever he was doing to come over and cuddle with me until I got calmed down. So, don't tell me he didn't understand what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I do.
no. Lilith, I swear, I named my cat Lilith, and I named her well. But she does the same thing. Dan would know about Bella, but Bella had passed away not that long ago. And both Bella or Bellatrix La Pig was a guinea pig. And just so happened to be Lilith's best friend. I mean, whenever I had Bella out of her cage, those two were playing. I couldn't tell you if my cat thought she was a guinea pig or if my guinea pig thought she was a cat. But they would play all the time, and unfortunately, Bella reached the age of guinea pigs where they start going, and she went quickly. But even right now, I have Bella's ashes sitting in an urn on my desk with her paw print, and Lilith will now go up and curl up with the ashes.
Oh.
I will be honest. Every time I see her sitting there with her head on top of it, I start crying. This cat will look at me, get up, come over to where I am. If I'm laying down, she'll pop right on my chest to put pressure on me and just start purring as loud as this mother ever could. And once I get calmed back down, she's like, okay, I gotta go spend time with her right now. But yeah, no, I don't care what anybody says. My cat knows too much. She understands when I talk to her.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you.
Well, this one has been known. This one has a limited English vocabulary, because not just Daryl and I, but several other people have heard him, and he can, between that and body language, carry on a conversation. I can remember one time, Daryl went in the kitchen and gave him treats, and I was sitting here writing on my laptop, and Daryl went back in the bedroom because he was watching TV in there, so he wouldn't bother me in here. And Elron comes out, and he yells, "Hello, hello, hello!" And I said, "I'm right here, baby." And he ignored me. "Hello." And I said, "Baby, I'm right here. What do you need?" And he looked at me, and he cocked his head, and he says, "No."
Oh.
And he marched himself over to the door down the hall to the bedroom, and he looked down the hall, and then he looked over his shoulder at me, and he looked back down the hall, and he says, "Hello, Dowell, hello." And then he looked back at me as if to say, "Got you come up, didn't I?" So
Luckily, my cat,
you're not talking to me, you're talking to him.
yeah, luckily Lilith has not started talking. However, she will meow at me and answer me back with a meow.
Uh-huh.
With a meow. What the fuck? I don't know what the hell that was, but she will literally cock her head, look at me. If I'm talking about something, her facial expressions change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knows exactly what I'm saying. There's been times that I've looked at her and raised my eyebrow, and she'll look at me and go,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I did, what? Wait, hold on. What? And she'll just look smug as hell every time we do it. She'll just look smug as hell, just looking at me, thump with her tail, a certain way. I know what that means. And it's just like, am I having a conversation with my...
Yes.
Why am I having more of an intelligent conversation with my cat who does not understand or speak English than I do with normal people?
Oh no, I think they understand English. I think that their voice box and their mouth is just not shaped well to speak it very well.
And
although
my
every once in a while you'll
that expression you described was Yeah, I'm teaching the monkey to speak cat.
Uh-huh. Dan, are you paying attention to the time, dear? You got to go to work tomorrow.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I didn't really want to end the show. I know it's an hour earlier than normal. Saturday night, I promised 2 hours, but I'm working 12-hour days at work this week because we're shorthanded. So instead of coming home at 3, I'm coming home at 7.
Ouch.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna
um,
say I was gonna have to leave it now anyway. I got a commitment in the morning, but I wanted
yeah.
to say good meeting you, Thessaly. Although
Yes.
You
I think I'll be calling you the Sally though.
don't.
Instead.
Everyone does. Everyone does. Please don't.
And
Please don't.
Stephanie, it's always good to see you. And Dan, yeah,
Likewise.
no, I'm kidding, Dan. I love you.
Love you.
But
You're
I will
just
be there Saturday for Stupid O'Clock, but not for Last Man Standing unless you're not having one, which ignore that comment if you're not. So,
I intend to have one. It's just whether
oh,
or
do
not I'll
you?
be awake. But um, tomorrow night is the green room, which I will
Yep.
just barely get at home in time for. So, um,
Yep,
Well,
Cecily,
enchanted.
Laura's going to
Yep,
come to the
enchanted.
auction tomorrow, so I'll plan
yeah,
on being in the green room, but I don't know when. It might be late as usual.
I don't know
uh,
what time I'm going to be getting off work Saturday because unfortunately I am working a 14-hour shift Saturday.
Ouch.
mm. Well, Stupid O'Clock doesn't start until 11 p.m. and Last Man Standing doesn't start until 1 a.m. Sunday.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll get out at 1 a.m., but I also have an hour walk home too. So
Well,
we shall see.
We shall
you
see. And
you could,
we got to do something about getting you in the green room sometime if you've got Friday nights free
I
every once
actually,
in a
I
while.
actually don't. I don't work every Friday. Tomorrow I'm not working. It's my last day off from my COVID break before I got to go into work Saturday.
Hmm.
So
Well,
I should be free tomorrow.
you've got to go into Facebook and join Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group is the name of it, and
Man,
then
it's
you
mailing.
go to the page and you'll see a link to join the room. That
yeah, because
that
I think Carl made it to where you have to be a member of the group before you can physically get in.
yeah,
Which is
and
fine. I just need someone to send me a link.
Oh,
we'll see what we can do. Um,
I miss all
and
y'all's faces.
yeah,
and
I have
and
a great.
send a friend request, and
I'm really, really bad. You're better off doing it yourself. To be all honest,
oh,
I am terrible with names. I am. Ask Dan. I am terrible with names,
except for the ones in your stories.
except for the ones in my stories. Oh, sir. By the way, we have to have a talk about that. I need your help again.
Yes, ma'am. Cecily was working on a story at the Liberty Con and handed me the notebook. She was handwriting it in,
Oh no!
and she
It'll bring
goes,
up a
"Does
shame.
does this make any sense?"
Oh,
And I, I s- I s- I s- read it, and then I read it out loud, and I became her character, and
you
I
know what?
ad libbed a few
Like it.
lines. I ad libbed a few lines. She goes, "Wait, let me write that down."
Dan also helped me get my first first short horror out, actually publicized. Actually helped me out with that too. So
I'm
I
just
don't
a
know,
helping sort of guy.
but I need
hmm.
guidance. My Jedi Master writing master, the
Yes,
Padawan needs
And,
help.
my Padawan.
Padawan.
We
and
shall speak.
and who helped Dan get his first book published?
You,
Ah, Stephanie,
you,
yes, indeed.
you. So that makes you the Grand Master.
Admiral
Makes me your
Thrawn at
Grand
your
Padawan.
service. Yes.
Well, actually, Travis Taylor helped me get my first book published, so
Okay, so
It's-
that's the grand.
you pass it
Grandmaster.
forward.
Grand Padawan.
See, when you say Grandmaster, you guys are thinking Star Wars. Now, my
You're
twisted
thinking
head.
You're thinking Grandmaster Flash.
Well, that was my second thought, but my first thought was all those cheap 1970s bad kung fu movies.
Mm.
And
Well,
with that, I'm out because I'm Star Wars all the way.
oh, well, stick around and watch the bedtime story for the end credits.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
There's a bedtime.
Yeah, just watch the end credits.
Watch the end credits. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you again as soon as we're able.
Good night, folks.
Via
Bye.
con Dios, amigos.
Shalom.
Transmission overload. System will shut down.
What's the bedtime? I'm scared. I'm scared. So I don't know what's happening.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. 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 System will shut down. System will shut down.